Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Pixi again, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Pixi. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever you happen to be doing right now when you're watching this. I hope you're doing it fabulously and safely and taking care of yourself and your loved ones. And tonight, this morning, today, whenever you happen to be watching this, I am going to be doing a sewing tutorial. So welcome to another awkward video. And yay, cheers! So I've been wanting to do this for a while, basically since, you know, the crap show that started happening in our world. Since masks, I have words, I promise, are required in most places, I figured like I would combine decorating a mask and showing you a basic hand stitch. For those of you who don't know how to sew or think they can't sew, I wanted to start like a mini series on just basic sewing knowledge. So yeah, if you think this is a good idea, let me know down below. If you think it's a shitty idea, let me know down below. And we'll just get right into it. Another awkward video. Since we do have to wear masks when we go out in public for our safety, and I would highly encourage you to keep wearing your mask because you don't know, like, I don't know, nobody knows what's going to happen or when things will end. Since we have to wear masks, and this one's already pretty, yes I know. These are from Amazon, I'll link them down below if you want. There's one in pink, white, purple, there's different colors, but this is all rhinestone. I wanted to show a basic tutorial on how to add beads to literally anything by hand. And if you are intimidated by sewing, that's why we are here today. I want to show you how you can add trim or beads with a basic hand stitch, and I just thought it'd be fun to incorporate it into a mask to make the mask more interesting, because if you have to wear it, you might as well enjoy wearing it. You might as well just make it an accessory to your wardrobe, and of course mine is going to be insane. Mine already has the glittery words again, rhinestones all over it, but with this black trim, I'm going to add beads, and I'm going to show you a basic stitch, and hopefully we can get through this awkward tutorial together, and this inspires you to decorate your masks at home if you want them to have a little bit more extra. Like I said, you may as well make it colorful, you may as well make it fun. If you have to go through a whole day of wearing these, especially if you are working and you're front of the lines, thank you for being essential, thank you for being there for our situation and risking everything. Why not have some fun with some masks and drop them? Let's not make it boring. So what you're going to need, and I've done this to many other things, this is not just a mask tutorial, you can apply this to anything, and it doesn't have to be these beads that I'm going to use. I've done this to hoodies, I've done this to the hems of skirts, I have done this to backpacks, I've done this to shoulder straps on backpacks, I've done this to shoulder straps on tank tops. And it is very simple, just don't get frustrated, it takes a lot of time to do, but we'll just go through the supplies and then we'll get started. So you're going to need some beads of your choice, and you can find beads on Amazon, you can go to Michael's, you can order from Michael's. Walmart has a great selection of colorful beads, so I already have a collection of beads, and I'm just going to call them candy beads because of my former raver days. I have, and the containers were not included, these are all Chinese takeout containers. I selected, and I'll try to link things down below so I can show you something similar if you like the ones I chose. These are mini, they're called pony beads, and they glow in the dark, so I chose these from my collection. You can see they're all different colors, but they are UV reactive and glow in the dark. And then I also chose this collection of beads. If I could open this container, that would be great. These are hearts, stars, and smiley faces. I'm probably just going to use the stars and maybe some hearts in this project. These were gifted to me by Bailey, and that's a video like a year ago, but I will try to leave a card up. She sent me a bunch of candy beads, but there's just pastel, rainbow, stars, and hearts, and these are smiley faces, but I'm not going to use them. And the last collection I selected from my collection are these neon stars. So I'm going to incorporate these as well. But you can use any beads you want, absolutely. This is just what I chose from my own personal bead collection. We're going to toss the lids back here because we don't need those. And as I said, there's a border on this mask. You can use any mask you already have. It doesn't have to be this blingy one, but I will link that down below as well. But I'm going to put beads all along the trim by hand. It is tedious. It is frustrating sometimes, but it's super easy. And you're going to need hand sewing needles. This is a basic Singer, or Dritz, sorry. There's Singer and there's Dritz for basic sewing material. I think I found this deluxe hand needle assortment at Walmart, but you can literally find them anywhere. I like this set because it's almost like a book. They have different sizes for different purposes. So we are going to use one of the bigger eye needles, and you're going to need your choice of thread. So I picked out this machine thread, which you can also use to sew by hand. And it's just your basic, the label's gone, but it's just black thread. And or embroidery thread. I'm going to use this tonight because the beads have the bigger holes. So you just need to pick your needle and thread accordingly to the size of beads you pick. I mean, seed beads are going to take a tiny needle, and then these beads with the bigger holes are going to take a bigger needle, but you can see the size of the hole. So I think it'll just be like a fun twist on your mask. Like I said, if you have to wear it every day, you may as well enjoy looking at yourself and just incorporate it into your wardrobe to match your rainbow, goth, punk, edgy, hipster, whatever your aesthetic style is. I'm sure you can find some beads to match that you can sew onto your mask or your hoodie, like I said, or the hem of a skirt, or make a bracelet. Anyways, we're going to get right into this. So here's your mask. My mask. It's mine. And then I'm going to choose, I think, this bigger eye needle. And then you want to make sure that it can actually puncture the fabric, and that it has an eye big enough for your thread, but yet small enough for the bead holes to get through. So this is all you have to do to sew a basic stitch by hand. You take, I'm going to use the embroidery floss. Words again. This video's great already. You just want to take a length of your thread, whether it's embroidery floss or not. So you can see how thick this is on my hand. And I'm just taking a length. This is not going to be the exact length of the mask, obviously. I'm going to have to tie a knot and start over. And you're going to snip it. And all you're going to do is take one end, and you're just going to wrap it around your finger, loop it through, and then you have a knot. So this tiny knot will actually stop the beads from falling off your mask. And I'm going to do a double just in case, for good measure. And I'm going to snip that end. And that's it. That's all you have to do to cut your thread. And then I lick the end, because you want these multiple strands of embroidery floss to stay together. I got a fuzzy from doing that. And we are going to pick this needle. Here. It's wide enough for the thread to get through. And this is what gets frustrating. If you have bad eyesight, usually like I use my readers, but I lucked out. I just put it through the eye, and I pull enough down so I don't lose my thread when I'm threading the beads onto my mask. So that's it. You just tie a knot at the end of the length you have, trim it, thread it through the needle, and then you are good. And you can already see it unraveling here, so I'm going to be very careful. And we are just going to pick a starting point. I'm going to start at the corner right here, and you're going to put your needle through and pull it through till the knot stops, and all you're going to do, this is so easy, this is super simple, so do not feel threatened by any hand sewing projects. Hold it taut, and this is going to be totally random. You take one bead, pull it all the way down, and then as soon as the bead hits the mask, like the border, you poke the thread and needle back through, and then you pull it back up. There's your first bead. And that's it. That's literally all you do. So I'm going to do another one. And of course, because of the loops, you want to make sure where your thread is, or otherwise you're going to bring that loop in, like your ear loop. So definitely avoid that. You're going to pull it back up. And then you're going to thread another bead of your choice. We're going to take an orange star and drop it straight down. And then pull it taut. So the reason I picked the black thread is because the mask is black. So you definitely want your thread to match as much as possible. And it doesn't have to. It depends on how clean you want it to look. But then you just keep doing the same thing, and you just pull the thread up, put a bead, and then drop it down. And then you just do that until you're all the way through. You go up, and sometimes, you know, the fabric is thicker, so you have to like kind of work with it. And make sure to keep on eye, because see, the more I tug it, my tail has kind of disappeared. So then I just make sure that's fixed. Put another bead on it. We're going to go with, we're going to do a heart, this little pink heart. And we're just going to do the same thing. It does take forever. I usually take breaks. I have onset of like premature arthritis and stuff. My hands cramp up and my eyes get tired. But this is a project you could literally just go back to. And I'll take frequent breaks, or you can do it all the way through, whether it's like a piece of fabric or your mask or a hoodie or whatever you want to do. That way you don't start getting a headache for straining your eyes. But you can do this in a day, you can do this in an hour, put on your favorite TV show, you know, binge watch something and just sew your little heart out. And I just find it so soothing, and it's just so easy, but it just adds a little bit of personality and pizzazz to your own personal wardrobe, and it just adds an accent. So that's what we have so far. And they don't have to look perfect, because nobody's going to be looking at the stitches, and plus the thread is matching the fabric, so nobody's going to be like, oh my god, those are crooked. They're just going to be amazed that you have hand beaded stuff, and it's just that simple. You can use seed beads with a tinier needle if you have the patience, and seed beads are just like the little itty bitty tiny glass beads that you see in craft stores. I've seen people do amazing things with sequins, but that's it. That's just a basic hand stitch, and you just make sure that your hand is steady. You're keeping an eye on your thread. And let me finish this strand, and then we'll tie it off, and we can start another one, and I'll show you the results of my mask when I'm done, and hopefully like you took some inspiration and some ideas from this. So I'll be right back. So, I'm coming to the end of my strand, and I want to leave enough to tie knots, so I left a pretty generous amount. And this is what we have so far. That's why I was saying, like, it doesn't matter what length of thread you have, it's just like how long you want your strand to be. It helps to keep it shorter, so if one does come loose, the whole thing doesn't fall apart. And I learned that in candy making when I was going to raves and such. You want to double knot every so often. So that's like I said, if one comes unraveled, you're not losing the whole thing. So what we're going to do is just basically, when it comes to the end where you're happy and you have enough to tie a knot, you're just going to do the same thing as you started, and you're going to loop it. You're going to wrap it around your finger one time, like that. And then you're going to pull that strand as taut or tight as you can, straight through, and pull it down so it's flush with the fabric. If you can focus, please. Thank you. So you can kind of see where the knot is, even though it's black on black. And then we're going to do another same loop-de-loop. Pull it as taut as you can so it's a double knot, and then trim it. And boom, like you have your first strand of beads, which looks so colorful and rainbow, like yay. And I'm going to finish this one off camera, and then I will get back to you, show you the result. And if you have any questions, of course, leave them down below if I was not thorough enough. And yeah, I probably suck at tutorials, but I just figured it'd be a neat way to deck out your mask or whatever you want. And yeah, it just ends up being so pretty, especially with the rhinestones already on the mask. It just adds a little bit more flair and personality to it. So you can see how it's gonna turn out, and yeah, it's just fun. Anyways,